Shalom. I hope you all are doing well. I am blessed and I'm back again with just a quick video. Well, as you all might know, the Feast of Passover and Unleavened Bread is coming up. Some of us are already doing it. Some of us are doing it at the end of this month, and some of us are doing it in April sometime. The important thing is Yahuwah's remnant is trying their best to get back to his laws, statutes, and commandments. I think that, like, as a rule of thumb, and we all might know this, so we probably all have this in common, those of us who are keeping Feast of Passover and Unleavened Bread, is that this is a spring celebration, and the appointed season is springtime. So we know that when the equinox, the spring equinox, happens, then that ushers in or signals springtime. As you can see here, the Enoch calendar is divided into 4 quarters, and each quarter represents a season. And then each season is broken down into 3 parts. And that is, like, if you look at spring, there's the beginning of spring, mid-spring, and then late spring. And each quarter has 2 30-day months and 1 31-day month. And I just kind of pulled this Enoch calendar offline so that I can show you a visual, but it didn't have the last quarter as 31 days. So that's where you see my little red 1 little mark there. So doing some very basic math, each quarter has 2 30-day months and 1 31-day month, and this equals 91 days. And times 4, we'll get 364 days, not 365 days. This is according to creation and the Enoch calendar. So with that being said, I want to come on tonight and just talk a little bit about how we keep Passover, and maybe that'll help some of you guys who may be keeping it alone, or just kind of want to know, well, hey, I'm new to this, I don't know what to do, and maybe this will give you kind of like a little bit of guidance on how you can keep Passover. So what I do every year for Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread is I make a pamphlet for everyone who attend our Passover feast. Even if it's just us, me and my family, I just make it for us. And usually every year the contents of the pamphlet is the same. I might tweak it and change it just a little bit, but normally we go over the same thing because we're commemorating when the Most High brought the children of Israel out of bondage in Egypt. And what a lot of people don't know is that Passover is actually on the 14th day at evening. So when the sun is going down at twilight, that's when you begin your Passover feast. So you know how Hebrews are, we have to have a plan. So right here on my program, I have at 6 o'clock, we're doing food and social hour. And then the next thing I have scheduled is praise and worship. And then I have a opening prayer. And then the next thing you see on this program is how we go down the list going through these scriptures. And so maybe this will help, you guys who are alone, or maybe it's just 2 of you and you don't really have anywhere to assemble. Then, I recommend that you still follow some kind of little guidelines on what you're going to do, because we definitely do that here in our house. If we decide for, the year we're not going to have like a big gathering, and it's just going to be us of the household, I will still use this little booklet. I make one every single year, and I kind of tweak it a little bit sometimes, but for the most part, we are studying about the Exodus, and I do a lot of preparing of the study and the unleavened bread. That way my husband can focus on making the burnt offering, and it takes a lot off of his plate. And so the good thing about this is that obviously this routine can be done every year, whether you assemble with people or you're alone. And before we leave the table, we always do what they call communion, which the partaking of the bread and the wine, in which you find in Matthew 26 and 26 through 28. Now we know we're commemorating when the Most High took our ancestors out of Egypt, which this is going to happen again. But while we're commemorating it, we always want to remember that it was a shadow of the Hamashiach and him shedding his blood for the remission of our sins. So that's why we read Matthew chapter 26, 26 through 28, in which reads, "And as they were eating, Yeshua broke bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, 'Take, eat, this is my body.' So we partake in our unleavened bread on that night. And he said in 27, and he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. Please understand that we're not doing what the Catholic people do. See, every religion have taken some of our truth and use it in their religion, but what the Catholic people take communion for is not the same reason that the Hebrew Israelites do it. So that's a whole different story. So we're doing this in remembrance of the HaMashiach, who came to this earth to die for his people. He shed his blood, and he was the ultimate sacrifice for the remission of Israel's sins. So this is what true communion is really about. On Passover night, we do as directed by Yah. We have a burnt offering, which is either lamb or steak or both. And we have the bitter herbs. And we also have unleavened bread. So I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I just want to look into Exodus 12 and talk about a few points before I go. The Most High, on chapter 12, starting at verse 1, he said, And Yahuwah spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. And then Yahuwah goes on to say, Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next to his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. So by the 10th day of the month, we all should have our burnt offering on hand. This is just very basic so you guys can understand what's going on. There's a whole lot more of a mystery to all of this. But let's keep going. Verse 6 says, And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. So here we are at verse 7 where it says, And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. Now we want to be obedient to all of these rules, even though we're not back in ancient Egypt. So verse 8 says, And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Starting at verse 9, it says, Eat not it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remain of it until the morning ye shall burn it with fire. So any food that's left over has to be burned with fire. We usually never have food left. My husband don't really make a lot, so we eat what we have, and we usually don't have anything left. Verse 11, And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. Notice how it says it is Yahuwah's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, Yahuwah will, not the death angel, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt will I execute judgment. I am Yahuwah. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahuwah throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Then verse 15 goes into the Feast of Unleavened Bread, where it says, 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread, even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eat leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. 17. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. This is all going to take place again. There's going to be a second Exodus from this spiritual Egypt that the children of Israel are currently in today. And Pharaoh will let Yahuwah's people go free. There's currently worldwide plagues taking place, and the heathens know it. Pharaoh will have to eventually let Yahuwah's people go free so we can serve him in gladness. For those of you who needed this video, I hope this has helped. Since this is a 7-day long feast, me and my family, we read the whole account of the Exodus. We start from the plagues. So if you're anything like us, you'll have plenty to read. Here's the recipe for the unleavened bread that I make. I'll also leave my video link in the description box to show you how to make it. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you and your family safe in this dark time. And remember Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. He that endures unto the end, the same shall be saved. And until my next video, Shalom.